out of apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You're tuning to the Apartment 5B podcast hosted by your man, Kill. I got my squad with me in effect as always. I got my little sis back. It's been a minute. We have missed you, P. What's good?
You know what? It is so good to be here. The semester's over. I get a little bit of a break. I am just super excited to be here. So good to see you guys.
No doubt. We got my bro, the youngest in charge, the R&B guru, JR. What's going on, fam?
What's going on? I'm happy to be here. Yes,
sir.
Right.
Y'all know me. Let's jump right into it. 2023, the year in review. It's hip hop's 50th birthday, all the celebrations. So we're going to be talking about our top 5 hip hop albums of the year, disappointments, slept on albums, what 2023 looked like, what we're expecting for 2024. But then I also want to do this. I want to break down the ingredients of a dope album. And the reason why I want to do that, let's see. Let's do this first before we dive into all our albums, because I said personally 2023 was a blah year for me musically. And mad people, you ain't tapped into the underground, you ain't hear this, you ain't hear that. You know what I mean? And I think for a lot of people, I think I listen to music for different things than what other people may listen to. So I wanted to think about exactly what makes an album good for you, because I feel like this year had a lot of, I feel like what most artists are doing nowadays are almost like making mixtapes. I feel like they're not trying to make good songs. Like they're not making songs with good choruses. The beats don't have no drums in them, so like the production isn't big. And that's cool. It's just not what I'm looking for in my music. Great example. It was this spot, and I want to get this right because my man called me and he was like, "Yo, Kill, the great thing about Philadelphia steak life is that anytime anybody eats a cheesesteak, sees a cheesesteak spot, they send it to me." So my man sent me this spot, and I was like, "Nah, I'm not going," because over the bridge in Virginia. It's called The Broiler. And it's in Arlington, Virginia. I don't drive over the bridge to Virginia for anything. The only thing good in Virginia is Allen Iverson, Pusha T, and like Timbaland and Pharrell. That's it. The rest of the state is just, there's nothing over the bridge. So, but he said, "Yo, Kill, they got one in Clinton." Now, I drive through Clinton to get home and to work every day. So I said, let me go grab one, right? So I'm like, I'm going to go in here. I'm looking online. Number 1, they call it steak and cheese. I'm not feeling that. Number 2, they toast their bread. I'm not feeling that. But hey, Porsche, come on. You killed me for not listening to DJ Quick because he had a perm, right? Yeah. So I do not want to do that and just say, okay, it looks like this isn't going to be good. Let me go give it a chance. I give it a chance. Yo, the shorty hands me the bag, JR. It was an empty bag. There was no weight to the cheesesteak at all. Just nothing. And it wasn't a bad steak. I give it 3 mics, but it just, it wasn't what I was expecting for somebody to tell me to drive over the bridge to Virginia for. I tell that story to say that everything for me is about expectations. It's what you want from it. Because I'm doing a research on this spot, and it seems like everybody out here in the DMV loves it. You know what I mean? So maybe the expectations. Maybe these people in the DMV never had a real Philly cheesesteak, so they don't have anything to compare it to. For me, I'm coming from an era when we're talking, when people are throwing out classic albums nowadays, I'm thinking Reasonable Doubt. I'm talking Doggy Style, Illmatic. I was raised different. I was raised in a whole different mind state than I think a lot of people who listen to music nowadays. They're happy with a dope beat and dope rhyme. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But again, this was a blah year for me. So, Porsche, set us off. What do you think are your 5 ingredients for a dope album? And what is an album that's come out in the past 3 years that you would say like fits and has these ingredients?
Okay, I've got two, and they're from the same artist, actually from the same MC.
Okay.
So it's so when I was trying about this, I kind of had to group certain things because I don't know how people are defining what they are. So I use like several words for, the same thing potentially. Okay. So I've got concept, and then I like slashed it with theme, slashed it with direction, like whatever people want to kind of put under that umbrella. Then I've got sequencing. To me, I think sequencing of track lists are very overlooked. And I don't know that people realize the importance of sequencing and how it actually brings together a good overall experience of the album. Then lyrics and quotables, I put that together. For me, everyone knows, like I have lyrics over production. Production's right underneath. And then cohesiveness. So how cohesive was all of the above kind of thing when they play together. So those are my 5 ingredients to what makes a dope album.
Now tell me again, I'm sorry, you said I got sequencing, lyrics / quotables, cohesiveness. What did I miss?
Production.
All right.
And concept, theme, and direction. Like concept, theme, or direct, like however people want to sort of frame that for themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
All
so,
right.
Yeah, and what that means to me is basically like, does the artist have a clear idea of what they're doing and where they're going and what lane they're trying to be in for the duration of that album? Because there's a lot of albums that we'll hear and they're kind of all over the place. Like you start out thinking, okay, it's going to be about this. Then there's this track and you're like, okay, how does that fit into the album title? And, and title's important too. That's part of concept for me. Album art, I don't care too much about. I know some people really have that as a criteria. But then with all this said, for me, the albums that fit this, I got to give it to Tracy Lee. And the reason is Glory was exactly that. Glory and Different. He dropped Glory in 2020 during the pandemic, and he dropped Different this year, 2023. And this is where Trey, being like a seasoned MC, really shines because he knows, or he seems to, with his albums, beginning from Many Faces onwards, he has a very clear concept or direction every single time he puts out an album that I've heard. And everything follows that. He pays close attention to sequencing. The album is wildly cohesive. The production is always complementary to his emceeing style. And they are different from each other. He's not always talking about the same thing. He's addressing, certain Glory was about time during the pandemic. It was like a time capsule. That was my album of the year for 2020. And Different is the same this year. The same in that it's got a concept. It's really Trey telling all the stories of what makes him very different as an MC. And he carries that through an entire album, and he does it exquisitely. So that's what I got.
All right. No doubt. JR, what about you?
I'm with Portia, especially when it comes to R&B anyway. But for me, the first thing has got to be feeling. I got to feel that it's real. You know what I mean? Especially with R&B, with singers, you got to connect with me. So if you're going to tell me that, let's just say the album, you do interviews and you do all this, and you tell me the album is going to be about love, right? And then I get into the album and it's not about that. Maybe one song is about that, but you tell me it's that. So I'm already going into it saying that this album is going to be about love. And if it isn't, it throws me off. So it definitely has to be about feeling for me. Sequencing, definitely, for sure. Like you have to have, that album has to be like, the sequence has to be great, because if you got a song that's misplaced with a theme that you're given, it just messes it up. The production, for sure. When it comes to R&B, to me, production with the instrumentation have to work. You know what I mean? And then now actually seeing you actually doing production and how extensive and how crazy it really is. It's like, to me, I gotta feel that. You know what I mean? And definitely lyrics for sure. If your theme is again about love and all that, your lyrics gotta say that. And then the talent for me. like y'all said with MCing, you gotta spit. And for me, you have to sing. I don't want to hear all the auto-tune, even though I know it has to be there sometime, but I need the talent to shine through. So those are kind of my 5 that has to give me a great album, but it definitely, the theme and the feeling is top notch for me.
Do you have an album of the past 3 years that touched on all those things for you?
Yes. So, well, right now I'm still like bumping to Renaissance. I'm still there. I'm still there with that album, with the feeling, the everything with it. But actually, one that came out in 2020, the guy that we actually interviewed, Kill, was PJ Morton with Watch the Sun. Okay. That album definitely has a soul feeling to it. You know what I mean? He gives you, PJ Morton is just an artist, and then he gives you the feeling of because he's from that Watch the Sun, but I'm still on Renaissance, to be honest with you. But Watch the Sun, I would say, that came out in 2020 was a.
Is he getting frozen with you too, P?
He just got frozen, yeah.
Great album.
All right. All right. The reason why I wanted to ask this is because last week, AZ and Buck Wild dropped the album. And I was hyped for it. I didn't even know it was coming out of nowhere. You know, Vegas tells me, yo, AZ's dropping the album with Buck Wild. And I'm super excited because I always felt like one of AZ's Achilles' heels was his beats. And I think Buck Wild out of DITC is one of, you know, an incredible producer. So I really thought it was going to be dope. So, I mean, I went into it like at midnight, high hopes, like, let's go. It didn't have anything for me. You know what I mean? It was probably only one song that I rewound and listened to again. I think it was called Still Got It or something like that. The beats were underwhelming. The lyrics were underwhelming. But I've seen people on Twitter talking about like, oh, this is crazy. This is great. This is this. And it's what made me think about coming up with this for this show, because it's just like, obviously me and whoever loves this album, you know, we're digesting music differently. So for me, I'm like, Porsche, quotables. I need quotables. I want to be able to listen to your song and be able to walk away, usually instantly, with something from that song that I can quote. Choruses. I'm very big on, let's make a dope song. Like, let's not make, you know, great example. Y'all know I love Benny, Conway, Griselda. You put Tana Talk 3 is probably a 5 mic classic to me, but if you put $50 million in front of my face, I can't name you all the songs off that album. I just can't. I can name you Rubber Bands and Wait. Why? Because it had a dope chorus. You know what I mean? That was like a great song. You know what I mean? So I want a good chorus. Anthems. I would love an anthem every now and then. We haven't had anthems in years. Like, we haven't had the Ante Up, or we've gone through like, what's the Philly anthem or what's the Brooklyn anthem and all those things. Concepts. And the anthem part is like an extra, but then I would go into concepts, I would go into beats, and of course lyrics. The album that I'm going to use is Nas's KD3. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I'm going to use this album is because when I'm listening to AZ, he dropped Do or Die, if I'm not mistaken, in 95. And I remember there was just these bars like, you know, slaughter your intravenous like leukemia, what parts of me, who want parts of me, I'm vicious, boy, man, malicious, because it's real on this road to rich. Like, there are still quotables I remember from 95. You know what I mean? It's 2023, y'all. Like, that's what I'm talking about. When AZ start off, oh, Happy Jack, he was like, man, tough titty, but somebody got suck it. I must have used that line a million times in my life. So there are just things that I remember from him talking about. And I'm listening to this album, and there's absolutely nothing. I'm listening to AZ, there's not one quotable that I'm pulling from. And I think of KD3, you know, when he talks about, you know, we say sitting in a Range Rover dissecting bars from Takeover. Sometimes I text Hover like, nigga, this ain't over, laughing. Like, the first time I heard it, I was like, oh shit, like this nigga, you know what I mean? Like, really on some more like, oh, word, you said that about BJ, like, I got you. Or like, you know, then he said, then the other joint, because Jungle hit his jumps in the building and I peeped him, I was low, I stole him, and like the little, all those things, you know, the They argue KD1, KD or Magic was harder when KD3 go harder than all of them. Like, there were just these quotables that I was pulling from it. Just first listen, not even on some old, I've listened to it over and over again, just things that stood out to me. Even on the joint, Don't Get Eddie Kane trying to sing your way back in the group. You know what I mean? Knicks game in the seats, I barely hit the floor. Not trying to sit across from somebody's lady I hit before. Like, so many quotables, the choruses. Reminisce. I love Reminisce. And I don't like to reminisce because the way that we living right now is really lit. You know what I mean? You know, nobody recession proof. Invest in you. That's what you're supposed to do. Anthems. Done. That's an anthem. All my Queens niggas love that shit. This nigga Nas is still making anthems. You know what I mean? Concepts. The song, First Time. When's the first time you heard Nas? That's such a dope concept to me. He's been around all these years. Tell me, when's the first time you heard of me, my nigga? Was you in a car with your girl? Was you with your peoples on the block? When's the first time you heard Nas? The song Beef. You know, when he's just talking about himself being beef, and so many things fall apart from this. Once a man, twice a child. Like, just getting old, just not being able to do what you were able to do back then. And then the beats, Legit, Thun, 30, you know, the beat switch on Michael and Quincy, recession proof, just dope beats. So to me, when I put KD3 next to this AZ Buckwater, it's not even a comparison. Like, it doesn't even come close. And it's like, that's what I'm looking for when I press play on your album. I'm listening for concepts. I want to be able to come away with quotables. I want to be able to come away loving an album, you know? And again, the AZ Buckwild joint, it's not whack. Don't anybody get that twisted. I'm not saying it's whack. It's probably a good solid 3.5 mic album, but the choruses are lackluster. The R&B singing is lackluster. No beats on there are like, oh shit, let me go turn on my machine and cook something up. You know what I mean? The lyrics is AZ doing AZ, but it's almost, I don't know. It just wasn't there for me. So I just wanted to put that out there because I believe we're all listening to music differently. There's somebody out there who's like, yo, I don't need none of that shit. I just want beats and rhymes. Totally understand why you will love this AZ album because it's beats and it's a very simple math equation, you know? So I just wanted to put that out there so that people could kind of understand why I'm not blown away by 2023, which is actually shocking because my man made a good point. I didn't even think about it. With the 50th year of hip hop out, you would have thought that people would have came out with guns blazing. Like, this is going to be the year that I drop my dopest album. Like, everybody should have been lined up. Like, all right, like, who's coming next? Like, Ghost, this would have been the perfect sign for Supreme Clientele 2. Redman, yo, Muddy Waters 2. Y'all been waiting 58 years for it. Here it comes for the 50th year of hip hop. Like, and it was just nothing. Like, it was, you know, it literally was just nothing, which is very shocking to me. But let's get into our top 5 albums. Porsche, I know you have 25, and you know what? We've missed you so much. I don't even give a fuck today, Porsche. List all the motherfuckers. List every last one of them. List how much I missed you. Just go ahead and list all 23 of your albums of these.
You want me to list all my whole 5?
List all of them. List all of them.
No, I'm gonna just disclaim this by saying that 2023 for me was like really dope because my top 5 favorite current MCs all dropped albums. So for me, I was like a kid in a candy store. Like, I didn't, you know what I mean? Like, my top 5 current favorites, one by one, all dropped albums. I was like, really, like, every time I'm like, yo, I'm good. Like, everyone's complaining about 2023, and I'm sitting here going like, my faves are the dopest ever, and my faves are faving all over the place. So I just have to say that. So I've got RJ Payne alone has dropped 4 albums this year. And all of them are dope. And I say this about RJ every year that he drops. He always makes my list. And the reason is he also nails those 5 points that are my criteria for a dope album. The one that I'm gonna keep this list to a 5. But my favorite one from him this year was Jigsaw. And if you've listened to that, I don't know if you guys have listened to it, but it starts off with the voice of Jigsaw from the movie Saw. So you already, the album art is exactly that. You're already going in being like, what is this guy gonna do on this album? Like, this looks freaking crazy. It's crazy. And then he follows it up track by track, one after another. they all carry through. And RJ is just very, very dope at that. He's incredible at executing concepts, and he's excellent at that genre, like the horror rap, you know?
Right.
So that definitely makes my list.
Hold tight. Let me ask you a question. How do you feel about MCs dropping 4 albums in 1 year? Do you think that's a good or a bad thing?
Yeah, I think that it's not... Okay, how do I say this? So I don't think it's the best thing in the world, and I don't think everybody should do it. I think that there are MCs who know their ability and their concepts, and they know themselves well enough to be able to put out 4 albums and give you different albums, so you don't feel like this is mundane, it's redundant, and it's monotone now. Because now I've listened to friggin' like 3 hours of the same shit, you know, and now I'm bored. I think that RJ Payne sometimes teeters. I'm not saying he's perfect. He teeters on exhausting sometimes, but this particular year, he did a dope job.
Okay.
The Barbershop, Jigsaw, My Life is a Movie 1, and My Life is a Movie 2. And they're all very different, and they're all dope. So I don't think it's a smart formula for every MC to absorb and just keep pumping out album after album.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Then I've got, and this isn't really in order, but then I've got Ransom. Amazing. Director's Cut 4. Amazing album. Ransom just gives you quotables. This guy just knocks it out of the friggin' park with quotables. It's just so enjoyable to listen to him rap. I just don't want his albums to end. And then when they do, I'm like, when is Ransom dropping another one? Because I'm a selfish fan, and I've been told that before, so I get it. Then Amir drops 7 Day Beloved Theory. Listen, I've been waiting for Dope Boy Soul for what feels like
I feel like we're going to be waiting for that for a long time, man.
Yeah, I agree. So when Amir dropped 7 Day Beloved Theory, which is an EP, I was over the moon about it because I was like, finally, I get a project from one of my favorite MCs. And this EP, again, it's short. It's 7 tracks. It's not, you know, a full-blown album, I guess. But it is very concise. It's very conceptual. It's very dope. Amir lyrically is great. He's, you know, shows range on this particular album or project. So yeah, that one definitely stood out. Then Tracy Lee's Different album. That album, man, it's like really might be my favorite album this year. I don't know what to say. Like, production was phenomenal. Again, his sequencing is amazing. The stories he's telling in those, he's told those stories on Apartment 5B to us and in, you know, various conversations that have come up. But to put it on wax against a beat that sounds so dope is just, it was such a treat. And Kill has produced a joint on that album too. And that was great. So again, one of my favorite producers ever, and one of my favorite MCs ever, and they're, you know, on this, again, I was a very, very happy fan this year. I don't know about the rest of you. And then I've got Michael by Killer Mike. Love that album. Like, I was pleasantly surprised. This is when Kill talks about surprises. I have to circle back to this as well. But I feel like Killer Mike really, really brought it. And he was totally in pocket. I love just all of it, the instrumentation, the variations, the introspection, just all of it. He gave us kind of everything, and I really appreciated that. And then of course Blue and Real Bad Man dropped Bad News, and that was it was very enjoyable. And Blue and Knots are dropping tonight, so this show comes a little early, but I'm also looking forward to that. So that's what I got.
All right, no doubt. JR, before we go into yours, how do you feel? Does this happen in R&B? Do R&B singers put out like 2-3 albums a year?
Well, yeah, because I mean Stevie did it in the 70s. So
I mean, now here's the thing, JR. You be giving me a headache when you go back in time. So if we could just kind of keep it current and just somehow, Porsche last week the What If show, he's like, what if in 1965, Steve, I'm like, nigga, like, yo, I wasn't even born, bro. Like, he's like, well, I feel like I need like a fucking thesis before you even come up with these questions. So if we can just try to keep.
No, we can say
within the last couple of years, like in 2023, like are you seeing that like newer artists are putting out multiple projects, in the same year?
You know what they do? They will bring out an EP and then they'll bring out a project. Okay. Like Ari Lennox did it. She did that and then she brought out her project. Summer Walker, same thing. I think now with the age that we're in, they try to see, kind of check the temperature of what people like. So they're going to give you an EP to say, oh, let's see what song they like off this. And if they feeling it, it's like, all right, cool, I'm going to give you an album. You know what I mean? Because again, going back, it's not like, us back then killing the 90s and then we can live with albums. So it didn't matter when they released it. We going to live with it. And that's just what it is. Now it's just like everything is so fast. So it's like, if the album comes out, cool. You know what I'm saying? But then it's like, okay, we need something again. So it's like they give you the EP, they give you the album. I think kind of that's what they're doing now. So.
All right, no doubt. All right, so what you got for your list?
Okay, just 5. That's it, right? Okay. All right. Number 5. I got mine in order. It's the Shindellas with Shindo. I'm happy my girls came back, man.
They have a new album out?
Yes, Shindo. Yes.
Well, that's what I'll be listening to, man.
But I'm gonna tell you, it's very because hits that stick like grits is a dope album. This one is too, but it's definitely artistic. They're in their artistic bag with this one.
It's still produced by Floyd
and Chloe Kelly, yes. So it's still produced by them. The girls are writing on it now, so you're getting a little bit more of them. So definitely how they even started with Up to You. It's like that. It's so funky and it's so groovy, but they're still gonna give you what we loved about them on Hits That Stick Like Grit. Like Kill, I know if you love Volcano Love, you're gonna love Kiss and Tell. Like that's.
I was just listening to them today going to work, so.
Yeah, so I know you're going to love Kiss and Tell. Ooh La La was good. Something that I want to say is my favorite off the album. It just came out about 2 months, so I've been rocking to it, so I love it. I'm so happy the girls are going on tour with October London, which he would have made my list, but you only said 5. But so they're going on.
I may have to troop up Baltimore and hit that show with you. Who you going with?
Oh, I'm just going by myself. I'll go.
All right. I may troop up there because it's like the day before. It's like the 13th or something, right? February 13th or something.
It's the 14th of February.
See, I can't see it's Valentine's Day. Fuck.
That's why I know. That's what I'm saying. Nah.
I would have went up there.
I might talk around and just do the other day and just go to that one and go to the 15th. So I can go there with you. So.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it rocks. But yeah.
All right. So number 4 is Emily King with Special Occasion. I just love Emily King. I just loved her since East Side Story with her and Chucky Thompson. R.I.P. to him. She's just consistent. This album was very emotional for her. Just like I said, she lets you know what you're going into, so you're gonna get that feeling. So a lot of these songs are vulnerability and all of that, so you're getting that with Special Occasion. So I really enjoyed the record. Metal is my favorite. This Year is another favorite of mine. Closer to the Morning is how she ends it. So it's really, she's writing through her pain and you feel it on this one. 3 is Keon Dixon, the R&B You Love. I love this record. Shout out to the Sykes podcast. They put me on to Keon Dixon. If you listen to the album, it gives you, it's a theme. And it kind of reminds me of Hearsay from Alexander O'Neal.
What?
It's such a theme. It's really a theme. And Alex is at, a party. So It gives you that. He's at like a diner and he's talking to a girl and they're going through little like interludes and things like that. Like he has Alex Isley on the record. He has RL from Next on the album.
Okay.
And it's such a dope. Yes. If you love Jodeci and all that, this album.
I already wrote it down, so I'm diving in.
So you love this album, so definitely Keon Dixon. I definitely will recommend people check out. Number 2, Victoria Monet. Love the project. I think for me, it's a little better than the first one, Jaguar. I love this one. I love Smoke. I love All Right with K Tronada. I'm so still mad that people kind of sleep on K Tronada and his production. Dude is amazing. You know what I mean? I'm the One is another favorite of mine. She got Hollywood with Earth, Wind, and Fire. That is the flavor that I wanted Silk Sonic to give me, and they didn't. So Victoria Monet gave me that, and the record Goodbye. Love, love, love. And number 1 is Jalen Naganda. I found him from one of my homeboy Simogen that he was like, yo, I know you'll love this because you love Motown, you love Stax. It gives you that flavor. And the album is called Come Around and Love. Love this project. I got the vinyl. I went and got the vinyl for it. I've been playing it every day. It's very 60s, it definitely gives me the vibe of Raphael Sadi, the way that I see it.
Okay.
It gives me that. Joints, my favorites on there is Come Around and Love. If You Want to Love, That's All I Wanted from You. Just Like You Used to. Give Me Another Day. I play that on my way to work every day. And So Glad I Found You. So
what's the name of the album?
It's called Come Around and Love.
Come Around.
Yeah. And it definitely gives you like that Raphael, the way that I see it. Motown, Stax, 60s flavor. Love it. So those were my top 5. But I was going to throw October London in there. I was, because I love the record. The rebirth of Marvin. He's getting a lot of flack from it. But hey, with him getting a lot of flack from it, is getting a lot of people to see him and actually go listen to it. Because before, people really wasn't rocking with him with Colorblind and then having Snoop really pushing behind him and people having an opinion about what he's doing with it. And he sounds too much like Marvin, but hey, you're going to listen to it. So it's getting people to know who October London is. So
now here's the thing. Do you think in the long run that hurts him? That he sounds so much like Marvin?
If the next album is like that, then yes. I think to me, and when it comes to R&B, you got to find a way in. You have to. You know what I mean? And if this is his way in, for people to say, oh my God, he sounds so much like Marvin. I mean, the title is The Rebirth of Marvin Gaye. So, I mean...
But I mean, like, even when I heard him on Colorblind, I was like, yo, I rock with it, but he sounds like Marvin. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things, like, it's undeniable that you sound like him. It's kind of like, I'm just wondering what he does next. Like, does Marvin Gaye sound good over, 2023 production?
Yeah. It's just hopefully that he gets, now that he has his eye, now everybody kind of knows what October London is about. He's an old soul. Me and him in the same age. So I get it, you know what I mean? So hopefully with this next one he comes with, it's like, all right, now it's time for you to be the artist, or eyes are on you, and give everybody some flavor of the R&B, you know what I mean? So hopefully he does that. But I still, rock until October, but those 5 is still my favorites of the year.
All right, no doubt. For me, number 5, I got Different, Trey Lee. Again, Trey is one of my favorite MCs. Everybody who's watched this show should know. I was a fan of Trey when he was unsigned at Howard back in '93. You know what I mean? When he was L Rock. So definitely rock with anything he does. Definitely love this album. Like Port says, I have a track on the album, Footsteps. So, very dope experience just getting in the studio with him. And shout out to my man O'Jiz. Next up, I got the Director's Cut, Scene 4, Ransom. Like Port said, amazing. Number 3, I've got The Great Escape, Larry June and Alchemist. You know what I mean? I never heard of Larry June before this joint, but, I definitely rock with it every day. It's actually my everyday wake-up alarm is the joint 89 Earthquake. So, you know what I mean? That wakes me up every day, so I rock with that joint. Number 2, Spare the Rod, Spoil the Child, Ransom. So I'm on my Porsche joint now, where we putting two people back-to-back projects. I think Rand is able to do this because Rand does a lot of EPs. So I don't feel like, oh God, here's Ransom again. It feels like, oh good, there's more, because when you get done with Director Cut 4 and you've only got 4 songs or 5 songs, you want more. So I feel like, that's my opinion. Like, I feel like if you're gonna put out multiple albums in a year, I'd rather you do EPs. So then kind of like at the end of the year, we end up with, maybe 16 songs, which is basically almost like an album almost, instead of trying to put out, 5 and 6 albums like that. P, you were talking about his lyrics, and I was sitting in the car with Nay listening to this joint. It's called Scapegoats with 38 Special and Shay Noir, and it just felt like a bar party, like just everything that they were saying. And I was explaining to Nay, he says, what we choose to elaborate, enterprise to incentivize, no genocide. I'm dirty as Puff when he pushed genocide. And I was just explaining to Nate like he's using no genocide, but then he's coming back with I'm dirty as Puff when he pushed genocide. Defend your pride. You see me shine popping off in the nightclub. And then so it's like you see me shine, but it's really talking about Shine the MC who's popping off in the club, going back to the last bar of, dirty as Puff when he pushed genocide. And then when he said this thing, he said he was like, what you got for me, I aim for your soul, but I am not Tory. I stop glory, I squeeze, even when I freeze, the cops caught me. Let's not bore me. I've been a drink champ before the ink stamps. These bullets interrupt when you speak, and I call them shots Nori. So just the whole drink champs before the ink stamp, that he comes back, and my bullets interrupt when you speak, and I call them shots Nori. The stuff that he does is just like, literally, if I was a rapper, I'd almost be like, I don't even want to do it anymore.
Yeah,
I don't even want to rhyme.
Kill, I listen to Ransom and I'm like, how does his brain work? Because there is no way. I'm always at a loss for words because I just can't understand. I could sit here for 10,000 years and not come up with a bar that Ransom comes up with like this on every effing album he puts out. Every album, every time. This guy is unreal. Yeah. Superheroes, man. MCs are superheroes. He's
really the epitome of when we talk about quotables. Like, I'm constantly going back, like, what did he say? It's just amazing. So, Ransom. And then my number one is Killer Michael. Again, I've never been a big Killer Mike fan. For the millionth time, that doesn't mean I didn't like Killer Mike. When I talk about being a fan, I'm like, I'm excited for your album, I'm going to your shows, all those things. Killer Mike, I always thought was dope, Run the Jewels, Outkast, all that stuff. But never was like, I was never checking for Killer Mike. Like, oh, when's another Killer Mike album come out? So I remember reading this article about this album and him paying for it out of pocket, and I just saw No ID. If I see No ID, seeing No ID's name to me is like seeing Premier's name in 1995. I'm hype. And this album has everything that I talked about, quotables. Production is just big. I mean, great concepts, lyrics, choruses, everything. Michael, and it's not even close to like whatever is coming in second to this album. I felt like Killer Mike for me just owned this year. Porsche, do you have any R&B stuff?
Nope.
All right.
Have Boyz II Men an album? I don't think so, Kill. Throw that in there. It's been a while since I've been able to give the boys some love, so.
Here's the funny part. I was just out the other night with my man Bernard and my man Slayer, and Bernard loves Boyz II Men. I don't actually know. I need to introduce you to, because he may love Boyz II Men more than you do, and I don't even think I've ever met anybody who loves Boyz II Men more than you do. But me and Slayer was just giving him hell, like when he gave us his top 5, and like Boyz II Men is number 1. It's just the look on his face, like, Nick, why wouldn't they be number 1? And I'm like, this is Porsche. Why wouldn't they be number 1? Here's the thing with me with R&B. This was a rough year for me too. I mean, you got Clear 2. I love Summer Walker. That Clear 2, Soft Life EP, I love it. Me and Naomi play it all the time. I love every song off that album. And I know he is canceled from here on out, but I that Love album, that Puff Love album, you know what I mean? Again, that album gave me the R&B. I listened to that album so much. I was in LA and I remember people telling me, yo, Kill, I think people were texting me like, yo, Kill, I think your Twitter got hacked. Nigga is saying he loves Puff's new album. I'm like, no, it's me. I'm not hacked. You know what I mean? It's actually me. But I was listening to the album for 3 days and couldn't even get past song 13. Like, that's how good the songs were. It just kept me listening over and over again. That didn't make your list, JR. What did you think of that album? Or are you not speaking on Diddy?
I digged it. It was definitely the feeling of the album. He definitely gave you what he said the album was going to be. He said it was going to give you that 90s feeling, and how we said in the beginning. Now, I knew how it was going in, so when I saw a lot of the people that was on it, I said, oh, how is this gonna go? So then when I listened to it, I was like, oh, all right. I was like, okay, all right. He definitely did what he said, and it gave you the feeling of that 90s, that R&B that we love. So it definitely had the feeling. So I dig it.
All right. Slept on albums. Porsche, what you got? Any slept on albums? Well, I think you named every album that dropped this year, so I don't know if there's any room.
The one that I would put for slept on is, and I say this because Sky Zoo's Mind of a Saint that dropped. Literally, Sky Zoo and Kill were the two people that made me watch the entirety of that show, of Snowfall. I see Sky Zoo drop this album, and I'm like, Mind of a Saint. I know this because I've seen people tweet about Snowfall, and I'm like, fuck, I hadn't watched it. I literally hit up Kill, and I was like, Kill, Sky Zoo just dropped a joint, Mind of a Saint. I know it's Snowfall related. I haven't seen it. Kill goes, watch it. I literally binge watched that show and listened to the album, and I loved it. Sky Zoo is incredible to me, and I feel like when it dropped, there was like a little bit of a buzz around it, and then it really died off very quickly, and then nobody ever talked about it again, myself included. So I really want to put that on my slept on joint because I thought it was very clever in a way that only Sky Zoo can do. So yeah, that one.
All right, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
You back to Boys to Men. No more Jodeci shit for you. Okay, cool. JR, what about you? Slept on albums?
I got 3.
Okay.
The first one, Music Soul Child and Hit Boy.
You told me about that. I still gotta tap in.
I definitely thought that was definitely slept on. It surprised me because we talking about surprises or slept.
Right. No, I mean slept on is,
It's surprised. Okay. So it surprised me because first of all, you got Music Soul Child and Hit Boy, right? Even though I know Hit Boy has worked with R&B artists, yes. But mind you, we're still so into Nas's King Disease.
Right.
And that's where we're at. So it's like Music Soul Child's coming out with a record. It's like, him and Hit Boy, how is that gonna work? And then when I heard it, I was going to Atlanta, and that's when I went to go holler at Vern. Mm-hmm. And I was playing that on the plane, and I was like, yo, this joint is dope. You know what I mean? So I definitely, that was definitely a sleeper for me. Like, I didn't even expect it to be hot.
Question, because I love having you on this show because you can answer all my R&B questions.
Yeah.
How many mics do you give music as a singer?
2.
Okay.
2.5. Yeah, 2.5. Which is crazy because when I saw him at the
No, what was really crazy is Portia's face when you said 2.5.
I thought JR.
I'm about to explain.
Yeah, like how are you not shocked?
Dog, I mean, JR be talking this shit.
I'm just listen to this. It shocked me because I saw him live, and I was fairly surprised. I was like, yo, music actually. So to be honest, it went from, that's what I was gonna say. It went from a 2.5 to a 3 to me. I think he's cool.
That's so strange because I've heard people say he sounds horrible live.
He killed it at Roots. I was shocked myself because I mean, music got hits for days.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, because as a vocalist, I've heard him live before, and I was very disappointed. I was like,
okay.
Ooh. But then I saw him at Roots, and I was like, yo, he up here singing.
Which Roots? The Roots Picnic? Or
the
what?
Roots Picnic,
Oh, the Roots
yeah.
Picnic. Okay.
The Roots Picnic, and you know that, and with them sound being all because Bilal had to deal with that, and we know Bilal can blow. So for that, and he going through the sound, he actually sounded dope. So I was really shocked. You know what I mean? Because I know I give music fever as a vocalist because I've seen him live so many times, and it's like, oh.
Right.
You know what I mean? So then to see him kill it at Roots Picnic, I was like, all right, music. I don't know what vocal coach you got, but you all right. You know what I mean? So
right.
Yeah.
All right. Who else you got?
All right, Gareth Duncan. It's this guy Gareth Duncan. He is from the UK. And he is a fan of, like, how did I get introduced? It was him, it was by Neltron, Timogen, and Sin. they was like, yo, you need to check this dude out, see what he did. He gives you Stevie Wonder, he gives you Michael, he gives you Jamiroquai, he gives you that type of flavor. So I was like, all right, cool, let me check him out. Yo, this dude is dope. You can tell he's definitely Thriller, Hotter Than July, Stevie. You know what I mean? And it gives you that, and it's dope. Like, it's so chill. He's a multi-instrumentalist, so he's playing all the instruments and he's playing all that. And the album is called Welcome Home. And Sin actually got it for me for my birthday. He got it for me because I was on Twitter talking about it. So he got it for me for my birthday, and I think that is such a slept-on album. I think people need to check it out for real, for real. And the last one is Maida. When I hear your name, I heard Through the Night, and I was like, I know I heard of this girl before. She was on the Terrell show. Okay. And Ira was like, what? I was like, oh, I knew her. I knew this voice. And in June, her album came out, and I was like, yo, let me check this out. I like it. Pharrell is on. Pharrell helped her. She got like other producers on it. It surprised the heck out of me because I thought, again, these new girls, you know, I'm gonna give them fever for real, because I'm like, the vocals got to be right. Don't come in with that vibey shit. I'm not with all that. Like, come in doing your shit. And when I listen to it, even though it's a vibe, but her talent really shines, and that's what I'm here for. And yo, she got a joint Kissing New People with Ty Dolla $ign. She got a joint Clarity with Lucky Day, and Through the Night that she did with Free Nationals, and that, which I think is dope. The girl is dope. She did joint on Soul Train, and you can tell people don't know who she is, but they was like, yo, who is this girl? So I've been on her since like June. So those are the three albums that really surprised me, because I was like, whoa, you know what I mean? But I thought those dope. So yeah. All
right. For me, I got Everybody Good by Black Milk. You know what I mean? Very, very. I've never been a big Black Milk fan. You know, always thought he was dope, but I really, really rocked with this album. I also have Glorious Gift, that was Black Thought, and the L. Michaels band. That seemed like just come and go. Like, and I mean, Porch, to your point with Mind of a Saint, I think it's just music in general. Like, the way we digest music nowadays, it's like it just comes and goes. Like, you know what I mean? My man Mills said it a long time ago. There's more of a build up for the album. You know, if Outkast said we're dropping the album next month, for the next 30 days on Twitter, everything is Outkast and trending. The album's going to drop on Friday, and nobody's going to be talking about it the following Wednesday. You know what I mean? So I totally understand why artists don't want to make music, because it's like, I'm going to take all this time and effort to put this great body of work together, and then y'all are going to forget about it by the following week. So that Glorious Gift I thought was dope. And 7 Day Beloved Theory, Amir, very dope EP. You know, I wish it got promoted a lot more and got pumped a lot more. I mean, most people don't even know it came out. You know what I mean? People still ask me like, yo, where's the follow-up to, you know, the mixtape joint of Pete? I'm like, oh, you got that? And it's like, oh, I didn't even know it came out. You know what I mean? So those are my slept on. Pete, did anything disappoint you this year? Did you have your mind set on something that was going to be crazy and it didn't come through?
Yeah, I love that you framed it that way, because I think disappointment comes from expectation, and I had none. Like I said at the beginning, I had no idea that my 5 current favorite MCs were going to drop all of these projects. Like, now
let me try to get this. Blue, RJ Payne, Trey, Amir. Who am I missing?
Ransom. Right.
Oh.
So, like, for me, I didn't have any expectations, and I only check for, it's very difficult for me in the current climate of hip hop to like venture off and listen to, you know, new artists that I've never heard of, unless they're like co-signed or underground, really, or indie. I love the indie. We're gonna get, I mean, if you ask the question, I mean, I'll bring that up, but so I wasn't disappointed, because I didn't go into this year with any real expectations, except for I was disappointed that Dope Boy Soul didn't drop, and that Pete Rock didn't actually drop that album, and it's been in, like, should have been dropped according to me. So that was my only disappointment, but that's just because it didn't happen rather than it did and I heard it and it wasn't good. So yeah, no, I again, like I said, 2023 for me personally, great.
Right. No doubt. JR, any disappointing albums for you?
Yes, one, and that was Janelle Monáe.
Oh, no.
I was so disappointed with that album. I was ready for her because she's been 3 for 3 for me. So when she was coming out, I was like, I already knew something wasn't right because she was doing a little bit too much extra shit for me.
She was on a Pharoah Monch.
Yeah, like she was just doing too much. But I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter. Janelle is an artist. This is what.
Hold on for a second, y'all. For people watching, that wasn't a shot at Pharoah Monch. Pharoah Monch has a song called Simon Says, where he says, "Girls, rub on your titties." Janelle Monáe's been running around with her titties out. That's why I said she was getting a Pharoah Monch on. Before someone walks away with this saying, I was dissing Pharoah, or what does that have to do with Pharoah? So I'm sorry, Jay.
That's so sad that you got to do that, but I get it.
That if you go back like 2 episodes of Apartment 5B, it was like salute to Pharoah Monch. So let's not get it twisted.
Right. Right. But I knew, because one thing about Janelle, all of that she normally doesn't do. The music speaks. You know what I'm saying? About her. So for me, I think, when she came out with Dirty Computer, it was definitely because it was more of the visuals and all that. But when it got to this, my eye kind of rose. I was like, what are we doing? Is it more?
So were the songs bad? The beat, like what wasn't connected?
A lot of people is loving it. For me, it's just not hitting. It was like maybe 2 songs on this album that I like. You know what I mean? And one of them is No Better. And No Better I love because the horns on it, the instrumentation of it all. That's what I love about Janelle. She brings instrumentation and she brings all of that. To me, it felt like just a summer album, and you can party with it, and that's fine. But it didn't connect to me like the other 3 albums did. So when it got here, I was just like, when it was finished, I was like, is that it? Like, that's all I got?
What do you think Janelle Monáe is as an artist? And the reason why I'm saying that is because I'm hearing you talking when you're saying, as a summertime album for it, is that normally not her steez? Now, keep in mind, I love the last album. The last album she had was Zoe Kravitz, Organized Noise, did some stuff, love that last album. But as a whole, that's the only Janelle Monáe album I've listened to. I've known the singles. I remember when she used to dress like a butler and all that shit. But as a whole, how would you say she is as an artist? Like, what would be your explanation? Like, Janelle Monáe is...
If I had to, I can actually compare her. If you listen to her music, she's giving you Prince, James Brown, and she's like a female them. And
that's not on this album.
To me, it's not. I'm not getting what, and that's what I'm a big, I believe that if you're coming out with a album, please give me something that I'm still familiar with, that I love you about. Don't, I know you're an artist and I'm following you and I'm with you. As an artist, you're supposed to progress. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to give me the same thing, like Portia said. I don't want to hear the same thing over and over and over again. You have to grow as an artist. But to me, I feel like this album that she has out now, I'm not getting any flavor of Dirty Computer. I'm not getting any flavor of Electric Lady. I'm not getting any flavor of, the Arch Android. I'm not getting any flavor of the Apocalypse. I'm not getting any of that. So it's like, I know she's an artist, so I'm not going into it like, you know what? I know Janelle's an artist, so she gonna take me somewhere and I'm gonna rock with it. This was one time where I was like, nah. I tried to go back and listen to it. When you keep trying and trying, it ain't working. It's not hitting. And I shouldn't have to do that. And I've never done that with any of her projects except this one.
Let me ask you a question, because we've talked about this before on previous ups. Gospel. Gospel was a big CeCe Winans fan, Everlasting Love album, loved it, contemporary gospel. was so hyped for CeCe's next album, Alabaster Box. I got it and I was like, what is this? And my OG was like, oh, this is her praise and worship album. Like, this isn't her contemporary gospel album. So it's like gospel artists will have this is my praise and worship album. This is my contemporary album. This is my traditional album. Do you feel do you feel some kind of way in that scenario, like CeCe, or like, would you understand like, oh, they have their phases, and if so, do you think other artists should be able to say like, hey, this is not my, Prince James Brown album. This is my fun titties out album, like give you a heads up? Or, so I guess the first question is how both you and Porsche, how do you feel about that? Like with a gospel artist? Because for me, I was just like, oh, okay, well, then I just have to wait till her next contemporary album because that's what I like. Then I didn't hold those other albums, her praise and worship, her traditional album, against her. It just was like, that's not for me. I'll just wait till she comes back on a contemporary tip. But what do you think?
Whew. Okay, when it comes to CeCe, I'm a little biased with it because I like her better with her brother, and that was. Oh,
and even if we don't say CeCe, but just as a gospel artist, yeah, any of them, that they may give you this album, that album, and again, I was like, I wasn't mad. I was just like, oh, okay, so this is praise and worship, cool. I'll just catch up with her when she's back on my tip, but I wouldn't hold that against her. And I feel like with hip hop, I don't do that. It's kind of like, you made this album, oh, that's whack. That's a knockoff your discography right there. Where it may just been like, nigga, I was in my get money phase on this album, or I was in my I was on my strip club joint this go round. Do you feel like we should give artists that ability to say, hey, everybody, I know y'all love me, but this is my strip club album. Don't hold it against me, or what do you think?
I feel like we should. I mean, as artists, you grow and you're not going to be the same artist. That's why I love when y'all talk about Illmatic. It's like so many heads want an Illmatic all the time from Nas. You know what I mean? It's like, that's all. They want him to do an album with Premier, Large Professor, Pete Rock, all that. It's like, yo, no, you grow as an artist. You're not going to be the same artist that you were when you first came out. So yes, do I think that you should, how Elise always say, follow your artist, trust them. You know what I mean? And I guess, going back to Janelle, I guess she was giving us y'all, this is what I'm giving y'all, this album. So don't expect to get Electric Lady, Arts Android. Don't expect that. Expect this. So it's like, okay, cool. I'm going into it like, oh, all right, cool. But then when I listened to it, it just didn't connect to me. It was like,
I totally get it. Totally get it.
It's not. But I want her to be the artist because she's an artist. It's not like she's just a singer and then you'd have no artistry because you have a lot of singers that's just not artists. She's an artist. So it's like, oh, this is my bag I'm in. Cool, Janelle. That didn't work for me. You know what I mean? Right. So I feel like our artists should do that, really.
I got another question for you about Janae, but I want to go to Porsche first. Porsche, what do you think? Do you think artists should be given that leeway to say, hey, you know what? This is my strip club album, y'all. Like, I moved to Atlanta. I love strip clubs.
I do. It's the same. It's kind of like when Pharoah Monch did the 13 album.
Right, the rock album.
Right, the rock album. Like, for me, I didn't love that album at all. And I remember that was, like, when we talked about it that year, I was super disappointed. But that's what he wanted to do as an artist, and it's the same thing on this side. Like, you as an artist have the right and the creative control to do whatever you feel like doing, and I'm with you, Kill. I don't really put it as a knock against them as an artist. It's just that wasn't for me. So when you want to come back to like Monch, like when you want to come back to rap, like I'm gonna jump on that joint. Like I can't wait to listen to it. But a rock album is gonna be for me, a gospel album isn't gonna be for me, or vice versa. Like it just isn't. Right.
It's funny you said that the artist has creative control. I forgot who I was talking to on Twitter, and they were saying, oh, the artist has total control to do whatever they want. I said, you are 100% right, and I got 100% right not to like the shit they do either. So you're right. We are both. I'm not knocking nobody for what they do. Just understand that I and some of your fan base may not rock with it. I think Fab did a great. My biggest beef has always been just give us what we want. So it got to a point when Fab would do the soul tapes. That's where I felt like the Backpackers and the Underground got what they wanted from Fab. It wasn't going to come from the album. You know what I mean? So I think that's the big thing for me, is just giving me a heads up. I think who did a great job of it, Gangstar. When Guru did Jasmine Taz, he was very specific to say this is not a Gangstar album. So when you got Jasmine Taz, none of us were disappointed because we went in knowing exactly what it was. Is I'm getting with Donald Byrd, I'm getting with like Mr. Smith, I'm getting with, these jazz musicians, and we are doing some hip hop jazz fusion album. And I remember it coming out and nobody was disappointed. But I know if Guru did not put that out there and people went into Jasmine Taz thinking this was going to be Gangstar Part 2, everybody would have been disappointed. We would have hated the album.
Do you think that's the same thing with Andre 3000 and his flute album?
Oh, we're going to talk about this goddamn flute album. We are. Trust me.
I was waiting for this.
We're going to talk about this goddamn flute album. No, I'm sorry, but what was the question?
No. I was going to say, is that the same thing? Because Andre, right before the release, came out and said, hey, by the way, there's no bars on this album. I'm not rapping.
Right.
It's so people who then listen to it prior.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think that helps. I mean, I think you have to give people that warning. You know what I mean? Like, you have to say, hey, everybody, I'm a vegan now. This is all vegan mac and cheese for Thanksgiving. Like, you can't spring that on them while they eating the mac and cheese. Like, something don't taste right. Oh, yeah, it's all vegan now. Like, you got to give me the heads up. So I think 3000 did a great job of that, because I think I think it would have been a total flip of everybody loving this album to people crucifying him if they all, went to bed on Friday night, woke up, Thursday night, woke up Friday morning, popping this in I'm still thinking of popping a CD and playing on the MP3 or playing an Apple, the album, and not hearing no bars and hearing a nigga sound like he's in third grade playing a recorder. So, but I do think that definitely helps. So I think this should be that. For me, I was totally disappointed in this AZ Buck Wild, truth be told. We talked about it earlier. I really had really high expectations for this. And again, this is no knock on people, but you know me, I say what I feel. I mean, when I sit back and think, I have to really ask myself, when is the last time I heard a banging beat from Buck Wild? And we may be going back to I don't want to go back as far as Whoa. I like the joint he did on Game's first album. I think it was the last song on the album, but I got to keep them. I think sometimes we get caught up, or I'll speak for myself, I get caught up in 95 Buck Wild, and it's not 1995 anymore, it's 2023. You know what I mean? And I probably haven't heard a Buck Wild bang, because there's nothing for people watching. When I hear crazy beat, that makes me want to come upstairs and make a beat. You know what I mean? And Buck Wild has made a beat like that recently. He's got a joint with Saigon and Benny that's crazy, just crazy. But just nothing like this on this album for me. Conductor and Conway put out a project. I think I'm just tired of Conway. I think, he's one of those people who, he's the flip of Ransom and RJ Payne. I don't think he can drop 3, 4, 5 albums, a year. He just can't do it. My man did a video reviewing this album, and I mean, he had it peg on. It was like Conway uses this template, do some shooting, I'm at an NBA game, fill in the NBA player's name, I got a bad bitch, I'm about to fuck her. It's literally the template, and it's crazy because after watching his review of the album, then listening to him, it's yo, this nigga really does follow this template. So it's tired. Conductor, I hate that goddamn fucking drop he got. Conductor, we have a problem. It's please stop doing that. Stop. It's just overkill. So that was it. And it's funny. I won't even. I guess I need to listen to this album. I can't speak on it because I haven't heard it, but I've heard everybody say how horrible Busta Rhymes' album is. I can't speak on it personally.
I'm hearing that. Everybody's
terrible. I haven't heard it. I heard this song that he's got with Benzino's daughter with the Ain't No Nigga, and I'm if it sounds like this, I'm good. But again, maybe this is Busta. He just gave us the Big Bang Theory or whatever the last album was called that I loved.
ELE.
Whatever the hell it was. That had 108 songs on it. But maybe he's in it. Maybe he's in his young boy bag now. I don't know. Maybe that's where he wanted to go. So I can't hold it against him. Now I do want to run down the amount of albums that came out this year. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, let's do this. Porsche, you love this year. How many mics are you giving 2023?
4.5.
4.5. God damn, you are high.
Listen, like I said, I have nothing to complain about.
Right, I feel you. You're 5
Yeah.
produced this year, and you still gonna have Blue and Knots tonight, and you know, so you still got that coming. Gerald, how many mics are you giving this year?
A 4.
Wow. Okay. I'm the odd man out.
R&B world though. I'm in
Right. I'm closing out this year on a 2.5.
Damn.
Like I was really because this is what I want to do. I want to list the albums that came out this year. Crooked Eye, Dear California, Skyzoo and the Other Guys, Mind of a Saint, Styles P, Calm Wolf is Still a Wolf, Crooked Eye and Joel Ortiz, Jeff KLAX, Rome Streets and Big Ghost, Shay Noir and Big Ghost, Mag Hami and the God Fahim, To Live and Madlib, Liberation 2, Conway and Joe Skis, Knowledge the Pirate, Daz Dillinger and Little Easy E, Lil Wayne, Currency and Jermaine Dupri, Fat Lip and Blue, Lloyd Banks, Conway, Won't He Do It, MC8, Lessons 2, Static Selector, Currency and Harry Fraud, Conway Drumworks the album, the Mussolini and Ninth Wonder, Black Milk, Everybody Girl, Earl Sweatshirt and Alchemist, 38 Special in Conway, Playing the Asian Apollo Brown, Nas Magic 3, Rome Streets, Drake, Guilty Simpson, West Side Gun, and Then You Pray For Me, Crooked Eye and Joel again on Prosper, Chic Luch, Gorilla Wing 5, Lloyd Banks, Halloween Havoc 4, Jeezy, I might forget, but I don't forget, Rick Ross and Meek Mills, Drake, Scary Hours, Busta Rhymes, AZ, but wow, that was Oh No, Conductor and Conway. It's a lot of albums. And everybody is frozen.
No, I'm not. Oh, I'm good.
You're not frozen? Okay. I thought you were frozen. I'm like,
good.
okay.
I'm good.
All right, Portia's still frozen. All right, cool.
I'm good because I was just saying, like,
right.
damn, have you listened to all of those?
Look back in.
Yeah, you're still frozen, P.
Kick me out. Lock back in.
All right, I'll kick you out.
I was asking you, like, did you listen to all of those?
I didn't listen to. There's no way in hell I could have listened to.
Well, you know what? Yeah.
Now, what I've learned, maybe a good 15 years ago. Now I said something because somebody was like, "How do you listen to all this music that comes out?" And he said, "If it's dope enough, it will find its way to me." Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how I've been living my life. Like I'm like, if it's dope enough, it will find its way to me. How did we kick out Portia and we brought in Rel?
Right.
Rel's in the building. Porsche just left UK door. Like, look at that. We're talking about all the albums that came out this year, and we'll come back around to you and get everything. Matter of fact, before I keep going, JR, I'll put a pin in that. Rel, what are your top 5 albums this year?
All right. I'm being honest, yo. There's not a lot of good albums came out this year.
Oh my God, you wouldn't kill Jesus. Well, go ahead.
So I got Killer Mike John. I got Magic 3. I got The Glorious Game, the Black Thought John. I got Weird Bulls album, Diddy's joint. And I got surprisingly Lil Wayne and 2 Chainz album was pretty good.
Okay. All right. All right. How many mics you giving this year?
1.5, 2.
We here. Portia JR just gave me like 4.5, and I'm like, I'm gonna be the odd man out and hit you with a hard 2, man. Like,
yeah. Like, I wanna hear like JR's pick, so maybe you can put me on to something, because for real, it went.
Well, keep it in mind, his are all R&B.
Even R&B. Still, I go for
Damn.
that. I would go for that because on the hip hop side, it's been.
Yo, everybody's been saying this. What?
But hold tight. So back to what I was saying, JR. Bro, I had just listed like 70 albums that came out this year. And JR was like, did you listen to all of them? I'm like, nah. But the great thing I love about Twitter is people love to school me on hip hop. So if something is dope, trust me. If any of these albums I just named were crazy, trust me. Niggas would have been on my head like, yo, you ain't heard the blah, 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 and you ain't heard this, and you ain't heard that. Like I was telling them earlier, and I said a minute ago, like, if it's dope enough, it'll find me. Mm-hmm. Like, and to be honest, that's how I got put on the Drake years ago, because I was like, again, y'all know me, you got a perm. I'm like, this Drake, light-skinned pretty boy, man, this nigga can't rhyme. But Everybody kept telling me about Drake. People in church was telling me about Drake. Drug dealers was telling me about Drake. People with 9-to-5 jobs was telling me about Drake. So I was like, damn, you know. And to me, that's what I mean. If it's dope enough, it'll find its way to me. None of these things I heard anything positive about. And a lot of them I listened to, I may have thumbed through, but you've got, like I said, Crooked Eye and Joel dropped 2 albums this year. Look, Lloyd Banks dropped 2 albums this year. Now I heard those were crazy, and I haven't tapped into that. That is somebody that people have told me about. You need to go listen to Lloyd Banks. But to me, this album this year was really disappointed. Well, I've been waiting to talk to you. The AZ Buck Wild album. What do you think about it?
I can't give a fair assessment. I only listened to it fully through like one and a half times. So I can't really judge it right now. I like some of the stuff I heard, but I can't give a real fair assessment on it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You listened to it thoroughly?
Yeah, I mean 3 mics. You know what I mean? But I'd given a breakdown of using Nas's KD3 as to what I want from an album. Right. You know, whether it be, you know, the concepts. I mean, we talked about the 5 ingredients of our album, and I was like saying with Nas KD3, I need quotables. And from the door, I was hearing quotables. You know what I mean? It didn't take 5, 6, 7 listens. It was like from the first time when that nigga said, you know, sometimes I text over like, nigga, it ain't over. Like, I was like, oh shit, like first listen. Or when he's like, you know, premiere album still might happen. You know, what would make Pete Rock act like that? The type of thing that would make me get rap right back. Like from the door. So it's not even like I gotta listen to it 5 times to get it. These were like quotables I was getting from the door. Like the nigga made an anthem with Done. Like my Queens niggas love that shit. Like the choruses are dope. I'm not getting any of that from AZ and Buck Wild. You know, I'm not. And here's the thing. A is, most people put A up there, not saying he's with Nas, but when you think of Nas, you think AZ. Like to Big to J is like Nas to AZ. You know what I mean? So for Nas to be able to do this, it's like, okay, AZ, boom, you got Buck Wild. Like, you know, my knock has always been your beats, but then we were just saying before you came on, I don't know the last time I heard a Buck Wild beat that was really crazy.
Yeah, I like Buck Wild, but in 2023, I don't know if
right.
I'm checking for Buck Wild. Like
I would have been more intrigued by a Jake 1 in AZ album. I would have been more intrigued. And here's the thing, I just think there's something about Nas and Hit Boy making music together. I don't know if Buck Wild and AZ came together. I mean, they both in New York, so they probably did. But I just felt like the singing in it wasn't hitting. Like, I just felt like KD3 is like, here, this is how you make a fucking album. Like, these are the boxes you need to check. You know, and if you haven't checked those boxes, then we got to keep recording. We got to go back and try again.
So my 5 ingredients will tell you why I feel like how I feel about the albums that came out this year.
All right.
Did y'all go over that yet? 5 ingredients?
But what you got?
Mine is sequencing.
One of Porsche's.
And I just think that's a very slept on.
It's a lost art.
The lost art. There you go. A lost art. You know what I mean? And I got examples of like a perfectly sequenced album. It's an old album, but I think Midnight Marauders is the perfectly sequenced album. You know what I'm saying? Album length.
That's a good one.
Too many songs, too much filler. You know what I'm saying? You're getting a lot of that now. Of course, lyrics and quotables is another thing. Beats is another thing. Those are like a given. And then features. Too many, not enough, and who are you featuring? Like those, those are the things. And in the past, you said in the past 3 years, an album that I think fit all of that was Daytona for me.
Good pick. Good pick.
I think Daytona was sequenced well. Length, it could have been a longer album, but the 7 was song. It just was perfect. You know what I'm saying? You got quotables out the.
You got quotables from the door.
From the first time. From the first line, you got quotables. The beats and the features. You know what I'm saying? All of that. So those are my 5, and we're not getting that. A lot of these albums, the sequencing is horrible.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel like how I feel about some of this stuff that has came out.
And I think, bro, you're basically just co-signing everything what I was saying. And I was saying, like, maybe people don't care about any of these things, and they just want to hear beats and bars. You know what I mean? And if so, then I can see why, you know, like people like, I just named, like, I had to rattle off at least 50 some albums that came out this year from MCs. I'm talking about Crooked I. I feel like Crooked I has the ability to make a 5 mic album. He's an incredible MC. Yeah. Sky Zoo, same thing. Styles P, same thing. Crooked and Joel twice. I should get 5 mic albums from these dudes. Rome Streets.
Now, Sky Zoo's Life of a Saint, my expectations were like through the roof.
And I think that's why I was disappointed in it, because my expectations, being a Snowfall fan, was probably out the window. But again, I've never been a fan of Sky Zoo's beats, which is why I love Retropolitan with Pete, because I feel like the other guys or whoever they did that with, I'm not walking away with anything beat wise. You know what I mean? And again, my album of the year was Killer Mike. I can't tell people how incredible that album was, because it made me a fan of somebody who has been out for over. Killer Mike was on that thing, the whole world. That shit came out like 2000. Like, you know, so for somebody who's been in the game 23 years to make me a fan in your 23rd year, that says a lot. You know what I mean? So again, I think we're on the same wavelength, just currency. I mean, Lloyd Banks, I still gotta listen to Lloyd. I haven't listened to that. Earl Sweatshirt and Alchemist, 38. I hear 38 Special and Conway. I'm like, oh, this is a 5 mic album with their eyes closed, you know? And it's not. You know, so again, for people out there watching, if again, it's expectations. If I tell people, if you're looking for a wife and you're going to the club every night and you're just finding whores and shit like that, you're disappointed. But for the nigga who's just trying to smash, he's happy. You know what I mean? So this is why 2 different people can go to the same club and one can be like, yo, I had a ball. Another nigga like, nah, I ain't done that. That was a whack night. This is how, because of your expectations and what you're wanting from people. So I don't know if artists can't do it anymore. I don't know if artists care to do it anymore. We talked about how an album only lasts you 7 days nowadays. So as an artist, do you want to put your whole life and 7 to 8 months of your life into an album just to have people listen to it for 4 days and then be like, okay, what's next? You know, so I don't know. Do you have any disappointed albums this year? Were there any albums that disappointed you this year?
Yeah. Buster.
We talked about that. I haven't heard it yet, but I've just heard everybody say that is disappointing. And I can see from the look on your face,
it's bad, bro.
Break weed up on it. The CD.
Oh shit.
So bad, yo. It's bad.
Wow.
It's bad, yo. Yeah.
That's
you see the feature. I saw the features. I was like, this could be bad.
I saw the features, and then I saw like Timbaland and Swiss Beats name in it, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm a pass on this one. It's gonna be a hard pass. And I've heard nothing good to say that we should keep going. Let's talk a little bit about this year. You know, Andre's flute album. All right. Here's the thing, and I want to make sure everybody hears me loud and clear out here. I have no problem with Andre 3000 making a flute album. ASR 10, Word is Bond to Jesus, make a bongo album, make an album breathing. Dead ass. Like, yo, here's the thing. When I heard Killer Mike's album and I saw 3000 was on it, I was hyped. I was ready. I heard his bars and I was like, this ain't it, my nigga. If this is what you got now, I'm good. Go play the flute, nigga. Because I was not blown away by his feature on Killer Mike's album, and I thought I was gonna be. So I get it. When somebody's telling you they don't want to rap, everybody out there, listen to them.
Yes.
You don't make them do it. Like, dude, if you've ever, I'm sure, if you ever had a homeboy who's like, yo, I don't feel like going to the club tonight, it's like, nah, come on, let that nigga stay home. Just let him stay home, because all he's gonna do is ruin your fucking night. All night bitching about the club. So if somebody tells you they don't want to do something, just let them not do it. You know what I mean? So this has nothing against 3000. My beef was with the fans. My beef was with the people who I've been on Twitter for 15 years. I've never heard people talk about meditating ever. Now that 3000 is out, this is the album I meditate to. Hold the fuck up. Wait, what? Like, when, how have I known you for 15 years? You have never said the word meditation, and I never saw the word meditation so much across my timeline after 3000. People, I've never even heard one person on my timeline ever talk about a flute. Ever. Never existed. Dead ass. Now, Andre is like, I'm playing a flute. Everybody like, oh, the flute is such a soothing instrument. Do you fuckers understand that flutes have been around since the beginning of time? Like, have you? Like, again, now 3000 has invented the flute. You know, so that Tuesday when they were talking about, the album's coming, I'm like, okay, well, yo, check out some Bobby Humphrey, check out some Herbert Law. Like, here are some real flute players that you guys should listen to, because at the end of the day, do we even know if this nigga can play the fucking flute?
That's
do we even know
that for? Okay,
right? Because I'm like, yo, guess what? Since all you fuckers love flutes now, let's give Bobby Humphrey some love. Let's give some real flute players some love out here. Right. You know what I mean? One dude told me, hey, no disrespect to Mr. Humphrey, but it's all I care about is Andre 3000 on the flute. And I'm like, well, one is not Mr. Humphrey, it's Mrs. Female. But at the end of it, so I was just more upset with the people who were loving on this album like it was the most amazing thing in the world. If we're keeping it a buck, then it sounds like someone playing, a third grader playing a recorder. Before you learn how to play the flute, you usually get started on the recorder. That's what it sounds like. T said, hey, what does the album sound like? I played her the first song, and then I played a Harlem River Drive by fucking Bobby Humphrey. And you can see the vast difference. But I can understand this. People who don't listen to a flute, maybe the shit sounded good. Trust me, after you see Bobby Humphrey or hear Bobby Humphrey, you will never listen to Andre 3000 again. So that was my problem with people. Pete Rock is acting like it's the greatest thing ever. Oh my God, we needed this album. No, the fuck we didn't, Pete. We need the goddamn Amir album. That's what we need. We need you to promote the fucking Premier album the way you're fucking talking about Andre 3000. We're keeping it a buck. That's what the fuck we need. Okay? That is what we need, Pete. That's what we need, Mr. Phillips, Mr. Rock, whatever you want to go by. That is what we need. Okay?
And here's the problem. Andre 3000 was quoted today. I don't even know the notes I'm playing about him playing the flute. That's what he said.
But you know what, Ralph? Here's the problem. This is the other reason I have a problem with people, because it's the name. That is what this is all about. Because I promise you, on my soul, on every pair of Jordans I own, I promise you, if you came to my studio and I was playing Andre's album and you had no idea whose album this was, and I said, this is me and Rel's new album, and we want to play the flute, and we don't even know what notes we're playing, you fuckers ain't letting us get past the first song before you're going to tell me turn that shit off. Okay? Nobody's going to be in the studio session fucking with their legs folded, meditating, doing no goddamn hot yoga. Y'all are going to turn that shit off, and play some fucking real shit. But when Andre 3000 does it, oh, I meditate. Oh, I can do hot yoga to this. Oh, God, I can. Oh, I just, my soul is so at peace because of this album. I can't. It's literally pathetic to me at a certain point, because one chick was talking about, you know, my spirit is just so in turmoil over all the music that's out. So this Andre 3000 music gives me something different. Do you motherfuckers know that there's jazz been around forever? Do y'all know that there's been gospel around forever? If hip hop music is bothering your soul, contact me. I will give you so many incredible people to listen to that can put your mind at ease and put your spirit at rest. So to make it sound like this Andre 3000, I wouldn't be shocked if he's not nominated for a Grammy. I wouldn't be shocked if the motherfucker won. And like you just said, Rel, he doesn't even know what notes he's playing. But because Andre 3000 says that, that's what's going to make this album so ingenious, because people love the album. Basically he's saying, I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing, y'all. And y'all motherfuckers are so fucking stupid. I'm going to tell you I know what I'm fucking doing. How dumb would you have to be to get in a fucking car with somebody who says, you know what, I don't even know how to fucking drive. You're like, I don't give a fuck, let's just go. Because you're Andre 3000. Let's just drive to fucking Atlanta from fucking Baltimore, and you can't fucking drive. That's what Andre's telling y'all, but y'all want to meditate to it. So here's that. Any other thoughts of the Flute album?
I heard that it was dropping. I just put like a row of emojis laughing. It dropped, those same emojis appeared. All I could do was just laugh, and I still laugh because Andre 3000 spent the last like 15 years listening to fans want so desperately a rap album from him. And he said, not only am I not going to do a rap album, I'm going to pick an arbitrary instrument that I walked around airports with and took pictures with people with. Then I'm going to put that on wax, release it, and then tell you guys I had no idea what I was doing. And you guys are going to eat it up because... Eat
it the fuck up. The funniest thing is they said this was the highest selling hip-hop album. It's not hip-hop, but, you know... But, and that's amazing. Like, again, this is nothing against 3000. I just want the same love when I decide I no longer want to sample, and I'm just going to play the bassoon all day long. So, everybody out there watching, Google bassoon, because I know some of you fuckers don't even know what a bassoon is. You know what I mean? So, go Google it. The same way y'all didn't know what a flute was before 3000. But my challenge to people in 2024 is, listen to the music and judge the music, not the artist. That's all I'm saying. So if you honestly, in your heart of hearts, could look me in my eyes and tell me that if me and Rel dropped that same album, y'all would be giving it this much love, duly noted. I'm good. But y'all know y'all fucking can. Y'all know y'all can. Y'all know y'all can. Y'all know y'all fucking can. So y'all know y'all can.
Has anybody listened to it on this panel? Anybody listen to it?
I've heard bits and pieces of it.
I listened to it.
I wasn't gonna do it, so no.
Like the flute is not pleasing to my ears as an instrument.
You know what also is not pleasing to your ears? If you don't like the flute, somebody who doesn't know how to fucking play a flute really isn't gonna be good for your ears.
The flute is good if it's, I don't know, like mixed with nature sounds and like doing a nature sort of thing.
That's kind of what the album is. Like, to me, this album is more like an app. Like, it's like a meditation app.
In the background, you can hear a waterfall going, so it kind of like muffles the sound of the flute. Do you know what I mean? Right. And typically, I like flutes made out of bamboo, and they're like played by Tibetan, like, I don't know, residents and
yeah, that's not 3000.
And it's just this album, the parts that I've heard, I'm like, I'm so very good on this that you guys listen to it and I'll just listen to you and laugh because I just find it so comical.
I think what's kind of harmful to my soul is when I see people my age capping for this album. Because people my age came up in an era where we could see Big Daddy Kane doing Taste of Chocolate and Prince of Darkness and being able to say, no Kane, that's whack. You know what I mean? And Big Daddy Kane, for somebody my age, was the equivalent of an Andre 3000. And we were able to say, no matter how much we love Kane, no matter how much we love Raw, Set It Off, ain't no half-stepping, just rhyming with Biz, Lean On Me, that nigga, this ain't it. This ain't it. You know what I mean? And Taste of Chocolate wasn't even as bad as this goddamn flute album. You know? But it's kind of just like, I guess somebody said, Kill, I guess if you're on a deserted island and somebody gives you, you know, a Big Mac, you'll tear that shit up and it'll be the best cheeseburger you ever had because you're on a deserted island. You know, so maybe that's what it is. But that was that flute album. 50th, hip-hop's 50th birthday. What were some of your favorite moments of this year? Well, I was saying earlier, I was kind of disappointed in this year because I thought with this being the 50th, that people would have really gotten their bag this year. Like, we would have got Supreme Clientele Part 2. We would have finally got Muddy Waters 2. Like, people would have been like, yo, we are dropping some shit this year to celebrate hip-hop. And that is not what the fuck we got. What are some of your memories of the 50th? Did you enjoy anything? The concert, you know, up at Yankee Stadium?
Yeah, the concert was cool. One thing that really stood out for me is the thing that Mass Appeal did for Scarface and Rakim.
Right.
Like that's something like we talk about with hip hop and we be like, man, I don't know if that's possible. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
To look out for the the legends. You feel what I'm saying? And for that to happen, I think that was like monumental. Like, you know.
Now, can you school me on exactly what happened? I read I saw the headlines that they were doing like a retirement or a health plan for Face and Rakim. I know Face was dealing with health issues specifically. Was Rakim dealing with something? Like, how did they pick these two people?
Now that part I don't know. I just know it was a good sum of money given to them as well.
Okay.
And then the thing, something with the health for Scarface, which,
right,
you know, a lot of the, you know, like when you're like a NFL player, NBA player, and you've been playing long enough, you get your pension, and you, after that you're done, you still get those, you know, those health. But for hip hop, like, it's not like that. You know what I'm saying? For artists, and a lot of these artists are going through stuff, and I feel like they've entertained us for all these years, and then when they get older, it's like they get pushed to the side, and you don't know what's going on with them, and they getting sick, and they don't have the health care and all that stuff. So I think this was like a step in the direction of looking out for our legends. I don't know how he picked those two. I mean, those are two good people to pick. And there's so many more, you know. Right. But I just think it's a step in the right direction, at least an attempt. Like, a lot of people talk and don't do shit. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's an attempt to do right by our legends. So I thought that was big.
Yeah, that's definitely dope. That's definitely dope. Porsche, what about you? Anything stand out from the 50th?
Yeah, Angie Martinez's iconic documentary about Big.
Yeah, their life after death was something special.
That was incredible. Yeah, life after death. I thought it was just such a highlight. I love that we got yet another documentary, but this time it was just so different. It was just presented differently, and it was really, really special that she did that, and I really appreciated that. Another thing I like, I don't know if this is specific to the 50th year, but I do want to talk about it, is I really got to shout out the indie artists this year. I think that everyone did such a good job of, and I'm talking like I Am God, Rel, like What Up Fern, you know, like just everybody, Numbs, like Furious Styles, like all the people that we sort of rock with, Vegas, like DJ Rec 1 with his sets on Twitch, like I feel like everyone really kind of showed up and showed out for themselves and for art and for creativity. And I really was so impressed with the amount of people who, you know, linked their band camps and, you know, did listening parties, and Backwood Sweetie did one. And, you know, like, it's just, I got exposed to a lot more of my independent artists, creatives that I follow, like my followers that do that I just really appreciated this year for that as well. I felt like it was a really nice dose of really dope art that I was, you know, exposed to. So I really have to shout them out for that. I thought that was super special this year, more so than any other year that I remember, really.
You know what, B? Let me hold you for a second. That's an amazing point that you just made.
It really is.
That's why I was like, I don't even know where to go after that.
And I really, it really has me checking myself on where we really need to be putting our radar, where we need to start moving towards, because you're absolutely right. And I don't know why. I don't know if because they're my friends. I don't know if it's because when I do these shows, maybe it's just embedded in my, you know, from doing this for 10 years, that the foundation of these shows was to give, how did we look at the major artists? How did they come into this year? Because again, I've been doing this shit for 10 years. So 10 years ago, there was no Bandcamp. There was no DistroKid. You know, these artists weren't moving like this. And maybe we need to move towards this direction, because Rel and I are talking about how disappointed we were from the major artists. But then when you're naming all the indie peoples that dropped some incredible projects, then we're not disappointed.
Listen, indie carried the year for me, and that's evident in the albums that made my top 5. Really, R.J. Payne, fully independent. Amir, independent artist, sort of. I mean, signed to True Soul, but he's more kind of indie. Tracy Lee, independent. Blue, independent. He's signed to Old Soul Music, which is owned by L'Orange, which is an independent label. So for me, indie really shined. There was nobody that I can, I mean, except for Killer Mike, I mean, comes from a background of, you know, commercial sort of machine and all that. But mostly for me, I like I said, I really have to take the time to shout out these people, because I feel like I was able to be so much more exposed to artists that I wasn't exposed to as much last year. Like, and then not only that, DJ Rec 1 with his Twitch sets. I mean, he did birthday sets for MCs. He did Hip Hop 50th set. He did like so much stuff. And then Vegas, like, you know, he had a whole new entire podcast drop. Like, we just had so much culture and so much art bubble up from the indie world that I just, love it. Again, 4.5 mics for me this year.
You just made me realize something. I approached this topic wrong.
Yeah, me too. Like, I'm sitting here like,
approached this topic all wrong, because now that what you just said, like, those indie albums that I listen to are better than the albums of the mainstream people. And I'm not talking about my own. I'm talking about just a lot of people you named. And I went just mainstream, and I shouldn't have. Now that that was a good point. Like, that just opened my eyes a little bit, because now I approached this topic wrong, because I had a 1.5, 2 mic grade for this year hip hop wise, but that's just mainstream. I didn't even
I think
and y'all, and this is my goddamn co-host. Don't nobody out there try to trade for. Don't nobody try and poach that ass.
I know that's right.
Don't nobody, the price of the brick don't going up. Okay, Marlo, don't try to take my co-host. Okay.
No, but what I'm saying is like you guys here, the three of you actually, JR with R&B reps, Kill with the production, Rel with the albums, like as a fan, I mean, I always say, like, I'm just a fan. Like, I have no talent, but I consume all of your guys' talent. And for me, like, really, indie artists need to, like, recognize that they're sort of carrying these years that mainstream is kind of letting us down. And I don't know. I mean, that's a giant kind of surprise for me. It was not a surprise, really, but what surprised me was I've been following a lot of these people for a long time, but I've never really
we get it. You got the collection plate. You got it.
You did.
What's your Cash App? Just put it out there for everybody watching. What's your Cash App?
I don't spend it on your favorite artists on Bandcamp. Except for there's no more Bandcamp Fridays this year, so let's go to 2024.
Damn, she not missing. She is not missing today.
Right. Porsche know about Bandcamp Friday like she is an artist. Artists don't know about Bandcamp Friday as well as Porsche knows about Bandcamp Friday.
Point, and I have people, you know, shouting me out for like, thanks for reminding us about Bandcamp Friday. I love to do that because I think that artists, I know you guys are so busy. You guys just put your music out there for consumption, not really thinking about the return of investment for you guys. And I just, as a fan, always want to make sure that if I'm going to purchase your music, why the hell do I want Bandcamp to process and administration fee me 11% that you guys can get in your pocket? So I think it's super important to be on that. So I've taken it as a responsibility to remind everybody when Bandcamp Fridays happen. And I hope to do that again for 2024. So
that's very dope. Shit, I don't even remember what we was fucking talking about.
We're talking about the
50th. JR, any memories from the 50th year hip hop?
Y'all said some good ones. The only one that I can think of after y'all is to actually for the Grammys to do a 50 year of hip hop. To me, for them to even do that, and in '89 we didn't even go. You know what I mean? Like, we was like, fuck the Grammys. They don't respect us. So. And 50 years later of hip hop, they did a whole big special on just hip hop and had you know, who I forgot who performed. It was LL, Common, MC Light. Yeah, everybody did it. And so for the Grammys to really respect hip hop as what it is, and they didn't before, and they give us a little bit more respect, I think that was a big moment in hip hop for me.
Yeah. My thing for the 50th is almost kind of the flip of it. What pissed me off was people who never talk about hip hop were talking about hip hop.
I remember
I was seeing people
like an hour about this.
Yeah, I was seeing people on my IG, and these are motherfuckers that I know, and I call niggas out on this shit too. It's kind of like, don't talk about hip hop on his 50th, and you ain't got shit across your IG any other day about hip hop. Like niggas like, oh, this is how I learned how to break dance, and this is when I used to rap. Why are you telling me this shit now? Because you don't say the shit any other day. So just don't say shit. Don't join the party. Don't come to the party. Don't be a bandwagon hopper. Don't do that. If you love hip hop, you would see it. I would see it on your timeline. I ain't saying you got to be me, but somewhere across your timeline, I would see you talking about hip hop, and I don't. So don't do that. That's some fake ass shit. But what do I expect? It's fake ass people in this world. So, but that's some nut ass shit. That's some Philly nut ass shit to me. There ain't never nothing on your timeline, ain't nothing on your stories, ain't nothing about hip hop. And now it's the 50th birthday. Now you fucking want to be hip hop. Nah, I'm good. We don't fucking need you. I don't know if you saw Rel when fucking Wallow was like, nah, I'm gonna be a good Eagles fan this year. I ain't gonna jump ship.
Nah.
Get me like, we don't fucking need you.
No.
We're good. Hip hop, we good over here, y'all. We don't need y'all ass. I don't want to know your stories about why you used to beatbox. I don't give a fuck. Keep doing whatever you fucking do. Go do your job. But don't come over here on this side of the fence when it's cool.
Right.
Don't do that. That's some nut ass shit.
Right.
That's some real nut ass shit.
Right.
What else? We got De La streaming this year. We got De La.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So that's a huge accomplishment. The Beastie Boys got Ludlow and Rivington, which is the intersection on Paul's Boutique album cover, actually named Beastie Boys Square, New York, after them. Y'all know I love the Beastie Boys, foundation, part of my foundation of hip hop. Here's something I didn't know. Kendrick Lamar's Big Steppers tour was the highest grossing tour by a rapper as a headline in history, with 110.9 million sold from 929,000 tickets sold. I was shocked.
Wow.
I had no idea, because the gist of this last album was most people didn't like it.
Yeah.
So I'm actually shocked that his tour sold out like that. Again, we gotta give love to people who passed away this year. Gangsta Boo, True Goy, Magoo, definitely RIP to all those people out here who we lost this year. Tell me this, are you looking for anything in 2024?
I am looking for Pete Rock to drop Boy Soul and release it from the hostage situation it's in. That's what I'm looking for. And I just don't know what else to say about that.
I think we all looking for that.
I totally get that. Bro, what you got, man?
I'm looking for Eclipse album.
Yes, sir. That's on mine.
I'm definitely looking for Eclipse album. I'm looking forward to how Benny's album is gonna come out on Def Jam.
Right.
I'm looking for a Stove Guy album, a real album. Yeah, that's about it.
JR?
I'm not really looking forward to anything. And the way Portia broke it down, I'm more the indie artist now anyway. So they are kind of giving me what I need. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of like the indie artists keep doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, the people we know, like Rel and Vegas and Vern and all them, like, keep doing what y'all doing. I'm good with that. You know what I'm saying? Because the mainstream shit just ain't appealing to me. Because it don't seem real. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't seem real to me. It's not about just the music anymore. It's about something that's just gonna have you, on trending topic for 2 days, and that's it. And after that, that's done. Like, just feed me the music, and I'm good. Fuck all the other shit. So, to be honest with you, I'm my indie artists and all y'all keep doing what y'all doing, and that's what I'm looking for in 2020. To be honest.
I feel you. The crazy part is, I mean, I really don't have nothing. Like normally with these shows that we do, like I have a whole wish list. And I don't know if it's just the older I get, like I stop believing in Santa Claus and like fuck this wish list, like it ain't gonna come, or you know, just being disappointed with the type of hip hop we got this year. But really, outside of the new Clips album, that's really all I'm really like. Because again, I always tell people there's a difference between being hyped for an album and listening to an album. You know what I mean? People always like, oh, I'll listen to it. Nigga, I'll listen to goddamn almost anything. But are you hyped for the album? So the only album I think I will be hyped for is a new Clips album produced by Pharrell. You know what I mean? I would be hyped for that. And to be honest, I just got like the Genie wish list. A new Sade album. A new Maxwell album, this is just a Genie list. It's like I don't even know if they coming out, but it's just like, hey, you know, I'll take a new Monch album. You know what I mean? I'm with Rel on a new Stove God album, but I don't want the conductor. I want Stove and Rock. Like I feel like that's the thing. Like I don't want him with Griselda, none of their producers. I want him with Rock Marciano, and I don't think we're gonna get that. So I'm a little intrigued. By this Pete and Common album. Only because I said the only way I would want to hear it is if Common brought his ass to New York and they're sitting down in the studio and they're making beats and songs together, and Pete posted him in the studio with Common looking like they're cooking up something. So it's a little, it's not a lot. Just a little. But I'll tell you this. If this goddamn Common album and Pete Rock album come out before fucking Amer, fucking Dope Boy Soul comes out, we gonna have another problem. What were you gonna say, Rob?
Since we doing the Genie, I got one for you. Kill album like Pete Rock's what was the album? Like so.
Yeah. I was waiting for you guys to finish for me to say that I am in absolute shock. I feel like Rel is in my head. Like,
let's do it.
I'm with that. Yeah.
You dropping these beats every day. Yep, you dropping these beats every day, and I'm like,
and I even have it all mapped out in my head. This is how much I've thought about it. I want Kill.
Let's do it.
To give us an entire instrumental album of just his beats, and I want it to be only available for purchase, and I only want it to be available on Bandcamp, and I don't want it to be available for free. I think it should only be monetized because I agree. So dope. And that's what I want for 2024. In addition,
you know what? Let's do both of them. I'll do a beat album, and Porsche, you A&R it. Porsche gets every beat. Like every time I make a beat, I send it to her. So you have everything. You pick the beats you want. You A&R this shit. You put it together. I'm with it. Rel, let's start doing it. We'll call up everybody we rock with, and let's do it. I'll send you the link. I think it's on my Bandcamp, kill889.bandcamp.com. I had a joint like that called The Away Team, but I did it probably about 12 or 13 years ago, maybe even 15 years ago I did it. But it was like joints with everybody who I was rocking with. But I think that's a great idea, and I think that would be dope to maybe try to do, and maybe we'll do something like 12 songs, like each month we'll rock with an artist, and it'll kind of like by December this time next year we'll drop it and do something. So yeah, of course, let's do it. Of course, you the A&R. You're it.
Sounds good.
You're the executive producer. What else is going on? Oh, real quick, what did y'all think? Did you see D-Dot on Math Hoffa?
I cannot talk about D-Dot out of respect for Tracy Lee, and that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to say a word about this man.
No problem. I totally understand. Love Trey to death, but yeah.
Nope, I'm not doing it either.
Okay, cool. Well, let me explain to everybody what happened. So D-Dot is on My Expert Opinion, and basically what he's saying is nobody can fuck with his catalog, everything like that. Had no problem with that. But then he brought up Dilla's name. And for me, there was no reason to bring up Dilla's name. The way Philly raised me was, you do not have to bring up anybody else's name to big yourself up. There's no way I'm ever going to talk about all the great work I do in DC and then say something like, and what's the dead nigga's name? Oh, Marion Barry? Yeah, no disrespect to him, But why niggas give him all the love? And here's the thing. People love me for what I do. People love Marion Barry for what he did. I'm not bringing up anybody else's name. And the sad part about it is the boy looked like now he's the mad producer. Because, and here's the thing. I love D-Dot. I think he's a credible producer. I think he's dope. But if he wants to know, here's the sad part. Because all these get money producers in the 90s was like, fuck you, Dusty, fucking backpacker, underground producers, looking for lubes. We out here getting money. D-Dot saying this on the show. Look at my shit. My shit's still getting played in movies. My shit's still banging in the clubs. My shit, cool. Then what you mad about Dilla for? Oh, my dick get hard every time the checks come to my house. Dope. I'm happy for you, good brother. Why are you bringing up Dilla?
It was too much for me.
Why are you bringing up Dilla then? Because now it makes it seem like when people do that, it ain't even about what it seems. When people do that, it's because Dilla gets the love that you want. But you chose that way. Like Marlo said, you want it one way, but it's the other. See, you want it to be get the money and get the respect. And now what you're realizing is that all that money didn't get you the respect. Number one, here's the reason why I think D-Dot don't get love. Number one, the average listener thinks anything off of Bad Boy was produced by Puff. So number one from the door, that's why your name isn't mentioned, because the average listener thinks Puffy did all the beats. That's number one. Number two, the people you catered your music to, the women who were in the clubs in the 90s are married. They ain't talking about music no more. The niggas who was in the club, they ain't talking about music no more. They done outgrown hip hop. Yeah. You know who's still talking about music? Us dusty backpack underground niggas that you wasn't making music for. That's who's still talking about music. So those are the two reasons why you get money. I ain't never seen nothing on Twitter ever about the Trackmasters. Never. I've never seen nothing on Twitter about anything about D-Dot. Anybody who I see on Twitter with the hitmen is either Chucky Thompson or Nasheem Mowry.
Nasheem, yep.
Or Stevie J.
Yep.
But those are the only two, for the most part, I've ever seen talked about. So again, that's why, my brother, you're not getting that love, because of who you chose to make your music for. So again, it's crazy, because back then it was always, why did the whole Mad Rapper skit start? That's where it all started from. You dusty niggas, y'all jealous of us. Y'all ain't getting money like us. Y'all ain't got mermaids in the goddamn videos like us. Okay, cool. Well, y'all had y'all mermaids, you got your houses, you got all that shit. Congrats, my nigga. And you know what us dusty underground niggas got? Is the respect.
Yep.
And it's the respect that's obvious that you want so goddamn bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's sad that nobody in the barbershop will step up to say that, because that's essentially what it is. This whole backpacker get money thing, that fucking civil war has been going on for decades. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, brother, I respect you. I love what you've done for the culture. I love what you've done for the music. But to bring up Dilla's name was just some nut ass shit. Like, there was no reason to bring up Dilla's name at all. You know, again, and then you bring up a nigga who died, my nigga. Like, you ain't want to say Pete Rock or Premier, or, you know, there's so many other producers you could have said. But you bring up Dilla's name. You know what I mean? So again, you know, I know Porsche, I know that's Trey's man, but you know me, I ain't got no cut card. Somebody say some nut ass shit up here, I'm gonna call you out on some nut ass shit. You know what I mean? So that's just what it is. And D-Dot don't give a fuck. And here's the great part that I said. If you feel like he's not getting the love, you know what D-Dot should do? Make some underground music. That's what you should do. Because that's what Muggs did. Nobody was talking about Muggs as a boom bap underground producer when Cypress was doing Insane in the Membrane and doing them 20, 30,000 white people fucking stage dive and all that shit. Nobody was even talking about Cypress Hill. Then Muggs popped back up, started working with all these underground artists, started fucking with Rock Marciano and all these different underground artists like that. Now, this nigga Muggs is looked at as like one of the dopest producers in the underground. So if you want the love from the underground, my nigga, last time I checked, you still breathing. Make some underground shit, and we'll give you the love. Now, I'll tell you the one other thing that nigga said that was off too, is he was like, because we could do that shit. We could do the underground shit if we wanted to. We could do that shit.
No, you could.
Well, then riddle me this, my nigga. Why on Life After Death did you go get Premier? Twice. Why'd you go get Easy Mo B? Twice. Why'd you get Clark Kent? Why'd you get Buckwild? Why'd you get Havoc?
Right.
Why'd you get RZA? If y'all could do this shit, that's like me saying, "Oh yeah, babe, I could fix anything in this house. What the fuck? What's leaking? Oh, the roof. I got that." Then the roof started leaking. Oh, hold on, I gotta call a roofer. No, nigga, you said you could do that.
Yep.
So again, if you really could do that, why go get all these underground producers if y'all could do that? Just some food for thought, everybody. Just some food for thought. JR, you know what? Give me 10 more minutes. Let's do some fun shit. Let's do some fun shit. Because I said I was gonna do this, but I didn't really have the time. Let's talk about some of the dumbest shit I've seen on Twitter this year. I'm gonna just do some shit.
Oh, look. Did you really write it down, Kill, for real?
Let me explain something to you. I have a notebook in my iPad called Twitter.
You did? Yeah, my bad.
And every week I write it down because this is what gives me ideas.
I can't wait to hear this.
Let's see. I can't believe this. This was back in June, and people were telling me there was 9 elements of hip hop. If y'all, and this is back in June, and we just did a whole 158 elements of hip hop. So back in June, it was beatboxing, street fashion, street language, street knowledge, and street entrepreneurship. Y'all be making shit up just any goddamn day of the week. Let's see, what else is something crazy in here? Was Walking with a Panther really that bad? I apologize, Rel. Yes, it was. The difference between
that was a bad album, yeah.
This is for one of all right. Does Little C's have a huge place in hip hop? I remember that was a good one too. Somebody called me a casual fan because I didn't know that King Sway was an MC. Porsche, this went back to this. You shouldn't say R.I.P. to dead rappers unless you swallowed them on a TL. That was from, I think, Skill said something about Magoo or something like that when he passed. And he was like, where was that? Black Thought and Danger Mouse's album is as dope as Illmatic was. God. What? Yeah, somebody said that. Yep. The week of August 14th to August 20th, somebody said Black Thought and Danger Mouse's album is as dope as Illmatic. Let's see. There's so much. Rory from the Joe Budden Show is comparable to Rick Rubin as a producer.
Oh my God!
Was with bullshit with that. You said that. I even had to comment on Twitter with that bullshit.
I literally did the Grandpa Simpson meme, but in real life. Like I literally looked at my phone and like did a once over and dropped my phone and like just walked out of that.
What?
Right. Yep. Somebody telling me Wale has a classic discography, which is crazy to me. Yeah.
All right, keep going. My bad.
Somebody told me North Carolina can now claim Big Daddy Kane and Rakim and the Lox because they all live there now, and I'm like, nigga, no, y'all can't.
Oh my God! Who are these niggas you following?
Well, here's the thing. I wasn't doing this early on. Now I started writing down who said this, and no, these aren't the people that I follow. Please, no, they're just random people who find me. This was a good one. Peak Guru is on Jasmine Taz 3. That was the best that Guru ever was on Jasmine Taz 3.
What?
Yes. Yep. And the same person said only 3 Gangstar songs have lasted the test of time. And Guru made better music and spit his best verses without Premier. And that is from at 93 Jones. That's who said that. 93 Jones.
Call them out. That's right. Call them out.
So yes, Guru made better music without Premier.
This man Jasmine Taz 3 though.
Yeah. Busta Rhymes never evolved as an MC and is equal to Charlie Brown as an MC.
Oh my gosh, I remember that whole thing.
Kool Moe D, Kool Moe D would have beaten a 1988 KRS-One in a battle. And that Meth was spitting nursery rhymes onto Cal.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so, and that's just a little of the stuff that I see on Twitter. And I write it down just to laugh. I write it down because this is how. Here's the great thing, y'all, and I appreciate the fuck out of all of y'all that y'all come on here every week and you chop it up, is that we seldomly ever do topics over again. We don't do rerun shows. Like almost literally every topic we do for the most part is a fresh topic every week. and we've been doing it for 5+ years on Apartment 5B, 10+ years with Live from the Writer's Bench. That's some, I don't know if people watching understand how hard it is to come up with a new topic every single week and not have to repeat it. But we do it every week up here. And again, I owe a lot of it to Twitter. Because for every dumbass conversation I have on here, I have at least 2 to 3. No, it's actually the flip. For every 10 dumbass conversations I have one really great conversation that helps me kind of build out all these things. So yeah, great year, y'all. Rel, tell them where they can get at you. Tell them about the album. Tell them what we cooking up next. All that good stuff.
Oh, my bad. I'm still caught off guard by some of those.
Bro, you I'm glad you wasn't here on one. Somebody said something about LL, and I was just like, yo, I'm so glad Rel ain't here for this.
Yes,
so
it was
glad.
like 2 episodes ago.
But I remember
2 episodes ago. And
It's like, oh God, I'm so glad Rel
is not here.
On the show? Somebody said it on the show?
No. It was something that somebody said, and we had brought it up on the show.
Brought it up
and
on the
last
show,
week when we were doing Hip Hop What Ifs. One of my what ifs was, what if Kumo D washed the floor with LL? And Tone was like, there will be no LL slander. And I'm like, I know, like, you're representing Rel this week. There is no LL slander around here.
Like, Tone, thank you.
There's no LL, Ice Cube, or Nas slander. Not here on Apartment 5B. Rel is not letting that shit slide. So
I can't. I'm sorry. I just can't. Uptown Rel 215 on the gram, JBen 215 on Twitter. The album is Caught in a Moment. It's out on all your streaming platforms, and it's on Bandcamp. Jarrell215.bandcamp.com. Give it a listen. And I'm back in the lab working on my EP that I'm about to do. JR. And JR is going to be
executive producing that.
Yeah. So.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm back working, but yeah, that's it, man.
Of course, where can I get at you?
on Twitter. School's over for now, so I'll be back a little more active on Twitter, but at Cherchez La Porsche. And yeah, that's right.
All right.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Pig?
And my TL is very boring, so if you don't follow me, you're not missing anything.
JR, where can I get at you, bro?
R&B Raps on Twitter, Instagram. New content with me and Elise. She does her 1 minute vinyl themes. She talks about a vinyl. She gives you 1 minute, and she talks about that. I got JR's Motown Life, where I pick a Motown song and I talk about it for like 3 to 4 minutes, and give you kind of the fun facts about the song, all that good stuff. Yeah, I was there. So yes, so I give you all that. And then I'll catch that. It's still rocking. The episode that will be out when this is out is we talked to Q Lin about Surrender to Love with Kendrick Family Soul. So that was a dope episode. Like,
shout out to my homegirl Q Lin, man.
Yes, like, and to talk about that album, and it really meant something to her. So it got really, really deep on the episode. So definitely check that out. But everything R&B Reps on Instagram, R&B Reps on Twitter, GR's World of Soul on Instagram and Twitter, all that.
All right, and you already know what it is with me. Kill 889, Twitter, IG. You know, you'll definitely see some stuff on my timeline, man. There's definitely. I will say this about my timeline. I think it's a very entertaining timeline. You know, I try to make it. I try to give some game every now and then. And for all the dumb shit we see, you know, at the end of the day, I tell people, Twitter is a crack house. And I don't know if any of y'all grew up in the 80s, but if you ever hung out in a crack house, guess what the fuck's going to happen? Sometimes you're going to talk to a crackhead. It's just inevitable, you know? So if we choose to... No, deadass. Like, one time I went to a crack house because my man had an ASR 10. Mm-hmm. And I really wanted to make beats. And my man was like, yo, let's go. You know, my man got a ASR 10. And it was in a crack house. And I went. And this is how bad people wanted to make beats back in the 90s, and you didn't have iPads and all that shit, that you would go to a crack fucking haven to try to make beats. So I say all that to say, if you've ever hung out in a crack house, eventually, I don't care if you're trying to make a beat on an ASR-10, a crackhead is going to talk to you. They're going to say some dumb shit. So that's what Twitter is. So if we choose to hang out here, you cannot get mad if a crackhead decides to fucking talk to you and ask you, what are you doing? So there's that. What's up, bro?
Oh, we shot our 3rd episode of Illidale Steak Life.
Yes. And
y'all got what's the name of y'all show again? You and JR.
Milk Crates.
Yes, Milk Crate.
Yeah. Look forward to Illidale Steak Life Milk Crates collab too. I just know that, but this won't happen.
Nah. We gotta get JR out here. Yo, I was just telling him, Rel, before you got on, I went to this cheesesteak spot and it was a 3 mic steak, but I was almost about to call it trash just because people on Instagram was bigging it up so much and all this stuff. And it was like, yo, it's in Virginia. And if I would have drove to Virginia for this, I would have been pissed.
Right.
But it just so happened that they opened a joint in Clinton. So I was like, all right, I'm driving past Clinton every day.
The Grinder John?
The Grinder John.
Yeah,
you heard it though?
Yeah, I saw somebody posted it, John. It was all right.
It was all right. Let me put it like this. I've never seen this before. I ordered a 12-inch. She had a 6-inch wrapped up. And I was like, I know that ain't it. And then he gave her another 6-inch. So I don't know if they ran out 12-inch rolls. I don't know what that was. But then when she gave me the bag, Rel, it was so light. I was like, let me get some fries too. Because I can already feel this bag has no weight to it whatsoever. But it wasn't nasty. Like the meat, it's definitely not our first app. It wasn't the first app.
Okay.
Like I can tell you that. It was better than that. But not for that level of it. So also check out me and Rel's Illidale Steak Life, me, him, and Gadget. We go around, we go anywhere. They got dope cheesesteaks. P, I cannot wait for you to come the fuck out here so we can take.
I look forward to your guys' cheesesteak show every time it drops. Like I'm obsessed with my favorite, hands down, my favorite food critiquing sort of food.
Yes.
So, like I love it, and I wish it was longer, but I totally get that you guys all are very busy people. But I just want to really commend you guys on that. It's really, really good, and it's very enjoyable to watch. So thank you.
P, I really think getting you to DC is the best thing. I know we've always been talking about Philly, but DC is best because we all out here. Me and Rel have come up with 2 or 3 dope cheesesteak spots to take you to. Grap is out here. JR is out here. Everybody who you fuck with is out here. So, you know what I mean? We got to definitely make that happen.
2024 queue of places that Portia needs to visit.
Yeah, we got to make that happen. All right, y'all good people. I will check y'all next week.